Hello, viewers. Today is August 15, 2024. I'm here to continue my discussion about the US presidential elections 2024. Today, I would like to discuss about what happens if there is a tie on the electoral college vote tally between Democrats and Republicans. So I'm going to look at a scenario where Donald Trump gets 269 electoral college votes and Kamala Harris also gets 269 electoral college votes. Before we get there, I would like to explore on whether it's even possible based on the current scenario. So let's look at the electoral college vote tally in general based on prior elections, and typically what are the states that Republicans win, and typically what are the states that Democrats will win, and then we'll talk about the battlegrounds. So typically, if you look at any presidential elections, Republicans win around 24 states, and that will get an accumulated tally of around 218 electoral college votes. By 24 states, what I mean is these are traditional red states like Alaska, Alabama, Mississippi, Montana, Idaho, South Dakota, North Dakota, Texas, Florida, and Kansas, and those kind of states. So all these states will get them to a tally of around 218 electoral college votes. In this, all of these states are winner take all, except for Nebraska. So I have removed one electoral college vote from Nebraska from this tally because I do feel like the second congressional district in Nebraska, it's going to be heavily contested. And I think Democrats have an equal chance of winning that congressional district. And mind you that Nebraska is a state that assigns electoral college votes based on congressional districts. And then the statewide winner gets the two electoral college votes for the Senate. So if Nebraska has got 5, out of which there are 3 congressional districts, and whoever wins a congressional district, each will get one electoral college vote for each congressional district there. So I've removed one from the Republican column. So they are at around 218 electoral college votes if you look at those 24 states tally. Then you look at the Democrat side. There are several states that they typically win in any presidential election. There are like 20 such states, and that gets them to around an accumulated tally of 225 electoral college votes. Among these 225, or among these 20 states, all of them are winner take all except Maine. And in Maine, I have reduced the Democrats tally by 1 because one of the congressional district in Maine is going to be contested, and it's most likely going to be won by Trump. So I've put that on the battleground category. So you have these 20 states for Democrats, 24 states for Republicans. Republicans getting 218 and Democrats getting 225. And then we have to look at the battleground states. So by now we all know the battleground states. We have the Midwest, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And then you got North Carolina and Georgia. And then you have Arizona and Nevada. So there are 7 states. So you have the 24 plus 20 plus 7, that gets to 51. You might ask why there is 51, because we have included Washington, D.C., which is not a state, but still it gets the electoral college, 3 electoral college votes for D.C., one for the congressional staff, and other 2 for the Senate. So they do get 3 electoral college votes. That's why we have 51 states and union territories on this list. So then let's look at the scenario on how one party can get to an electoral tie. So if you look at the Republicans, they are at 218. If you assign Arizona to Republicans, that's like 11 electoral college votes, that will be 229. And then you also give them Nevada, that's 6, that's be 235. And then you have 16 from Georgia, that will get them to 251. And then you assign the 16 from North Carolina, then they are at 267. Then Trump is likely to win the 2nd congressional district in Maine. So if we assign that to the Republicans at 268, then the most important 1 congressional district vote in Nebraska. So if you assign that as well to the Republicans, we are at 269. So you can ask how, if Republicans get to 269, it's obvious that Democrats will also get to 269, and they get to 269 from 225 by getting Pennsylvania, the 19 votes, that's 244, and then 15 from Michigan, that's 259, and then you get the 10 from Wisconsin, that gets them to 269. So this will get to a scenario where there is a tie in the Electoral College. So what happens if there is a tie in the Electoral College? It actually goes to the Congress. So before you talk about how the Congress will decide, this is one reason why um, Trump is trying to change the way that Nebraska allocates the Electoral College votes. Nebraska has a Republican governor, so Trump has asked the Republican governor to say that, why don't you pass a bill that will change the way that Nebraska allocates this Electoral College votes from based on congressional district to a winner take all. So if they change that to winner take all, Trump, we all know that Trump is going to win Nebraska. In fact, he's going to win by a huge margin statewide. So if he wins that state, he doesn't need to worry about the second congressional district. Even if he loses, he's going to get the entire 5 Electoral College votes in Nebraska, and that way he can get to a tie situation in the Electoral College vote in this scenario. Similarly, Democrats are also very keen on that one congressional district in Nebraska. That's why Tim Walz is going there to Nebraska. I think he's going either today or tomorrow. So now, if it goes to Congress, what happens there? So once it goes to the Congress, the Senate gets to choose the vice president. And in the Senate, each senator gets a vote. So if you get a 51 vote majority in the Senate can decide the vice president. But the president is decided by the House. So in the House, each member doesn't get a vote. What happens is in the House, they only allocate 1 vote per state. And the way they do that is, if the congressional delegation from a state has a majority from a particular party, they get to vote for their person to become president. So for instance, in Minnesota, there are 8 congressional members, and currently it's split between Democrats and Republicans, 4 each. But let's say that 5 of them are Republicans and 3 of them are Democrats, then the Republicans have the majority on that congressional delegation from Minnesota. So I'm just giving Minnesota as an example, even though it's a tie at this point. So currently, Republicans control 26 such states in terms of congressional delegation, and Democrats control only 22 states in terms of congressional delegation. And there are 2 states that are basically tied. One of them is Minnesota, which has got 8 congressional members, split between Democrats and Republicans, 4 each. And then another one is North Carolina, where there are 14 congressional members, split between Democrats and Republicans, 7 each. So those 2 are ties, and they don't get to have a say, because they will not come to a consensus on whom they should vote for the president for being a president. So currently 26 and then 22 and then 2, basically 2 states doesn't get really a say in this. But this is the current congressional setup or the makeup. But what happens is that since the new Congress is seated on the first week of January, only the new Congress gets to choose the president and the vice president as well. So if you look at the current scenario, Democrats are not likely to get a 26 state congressional delegation majority even after this November election. So Republicans are favored. If it goes to the Congress, Republicans are favored, and Trump will become the president if there is an electoral college tie. That is why this 1 vote in Nebraska and the 1 vote in Maine is going to be very critical, based on the scenario that I have laid out, which is very much possible because Trump is strong in Arizona, Trump is strong in Georgia and North Carolina as well. So the only thing you need to do is to win Nevada, where I think Kamala Harris is doing well now. And then if he wins Nebraska, and if he gets the governor of Nebraska to change the the law to make it as winner take all, Trump gets the presidency. And even if it is allocated based on congressional district, if he gets to win the second congressional district, he gets to become the president. So that's one of the reasons both parties sense this. They also see this as a plausible scenario, and that is why Tim Walz is going to the Nebraska second congressional district, and that's why Trump is asking the Republican governor of Nebraska to change the law. So this is a very interesting scenario, but it is quite possible. I don't think it is very likely, but it is possible. So that's it for me for today. And I will talk to you tomorrow and come with some other different program. Until then, take care.